Welcome to the Daily Tanya. Today is Monday, the 30th day of Sivan. Rosh Chodesh, the first day of Rosh Chodesh. Happy Chodesh to all of you. And today we're finishing chapter 9 in Shar, Haychud, והאמונה. Let's begin with tzedakah. Gedola, tzedakah, shemekareves, asageula, tzedakah brings Mashiach closer. So, very deep chapter. The Alter Rebbe today is going to give us a little synopsis in the concept of the tzimtzum, the contraction, the different levels of contraction of Hashem's light. And ultimately he says there is the secret of faith. In the Zohar it says that the attributes, the 10 attributes of the world of Atzilus is the secret of faith. Okay, I might be talking Chinese to some of you, and perhaps to myself as well. It's deep. We spoke before about the different worlds. The world of Atzilus is the world of emanation, godliness is revealed. There is the world of creation, world of formation, world of action. And each world represents a more contraction and more less the awareness of God is less and less. The world of Atzilus is a world that the only thing that is exists is the awareness of God. And within this world of Atzilus, that in that reality, and again, talking about worlds, it's not elsewhere. Everything is here. It's about the awareness. You can have a tzaddik like Moshe Rabbeinu standing right next to Pharaoh. Pharaoh is in one reality, Moshe Rabbeinu is in a different reality. He's in the world of Atzilus. And within this world of Atzilus, there is the 10 attributes. The attributes of wisdom, intellectual attributes, the emotive attributes. But in this world of Atzilus, the attributes are really one with Hashem, one with God. Just like we learned in the previous lesson, where the Maimonides says that God and His knowledge is one. It's not that there is, by humans, there is me, there is the knowledge, there is the subject you study. It's all one, which is beyond our understanding. And Hashem is one with everything. Then the Alter Rebbe went on to say that when we're talking about the level which is before Atzilus, there we cannot even say that we don't understand, because it is beyond logic. It's like you're saying you cannot touch the logic; it's too deep. Logic is not something that is touchable. So here we're talking about Hashem. It's beyond the concept of understanding, beyond the concept of knowledge. So that is certainly something that can only be grasped by faith. What we know, what we don't know, we need the faith to have it. But the same thing the Alter Rebbe goes on to say, that even in the world of Atzilus, the way God unites with His attributes, that it becomes one. It's not two separate things. That itself is something that is beyond our understanding. And that is why the only way to grasp it is through faith. Raza de Memnu says, the Zohar says, the secret of faith. Let's see inside what the Alter Rebbe says. Now, the Alter Rebbe goes on to tell us a little bit about the concept of tzimtzum. And although he said before that this is something that is for the maskilim, for the savant, people understand the deep. So he gives us a little synopsis in the note. Says the Alter Rebbe, Soy that tzimtzum, the oir ein seif baruch hu. The the mystical principle of tzimtzum of the Ein Sof, the Ein Sof light. So we mentioned in the past that before the tzimtzum, God's infinite manifestation was predominant. Tzimtzum, the contraction, caused his capacity for limitations and finitude, which previously had been submerged with his infinite power, to be revealed. So this is the first tzimtzum. It is a removal of the light of Hashem. The tzimtzum Adam Kadmon. Now he says, and the tzimtzum of Adam Kadmon. Adam Kadmon. What is Adam Kadmon? Translation of Adam Kadmon is like the primordial man, which is the concept of that the makeup of man, intellectual makeup, the emotional makeup, is there in potential. Sort of like, for example, you take a seed of an apple tree, of an apple, a seed of an apple. And you can say that this seed is a seed of an apple, meaning when you plant this seed, you have a potential for an apple tree to grow out. Can you see an apple in that seed? No, you can't. You cannot see the tree, you cannot see the leaves or the branches or anything. But in potential, everything is there. This is just an example to understand a little bit of it, the concept of the Adam Kadmon. The concept of Adam Kadmon, it is a concept that in potential, that is the idea of Hashem contracting the light, that there in potential, it's there the ability to submerge from there the attributes. But so the Adam Kadmon, which is the highest state of existence after the tzimtzum, after the first tzimtzum, first contraction, and the primal thought that contains and is the source of all subsequent emanations and creations. And then there was another level of contraction, which is, in the Kabbalistic terms, it comes from Keter, from crown, to come to Atzilus, the first world of emanation. And that is called V'soida Dikna. That contraction is called the esoteric doctrine of the Tzimtzum of Dikna. Literally, Dikna means a beard. The life force that animates hair is exceedingly attenuated to the point that cutting it causes no pain. So you look in the hair, is there life in the hair? Yes, there is life. But comparing the life from the soul that is in the hair to what is in the brain, for example, certainly it is not even to compare. The hair represents a very, very diminished form of life from the soul. That is why when you cut it, you don't have any pain. Accordingly, the terms dikna, literally beard, and se'arot, which means hair, they are used to represent a certain form of tzimtzum. So that is another form of tzimtzum, contracting the light of Hashem to be able to form, to bring about that the light of Hashem should be enclosed in the vessels of the spheres, the attributes, the 10 attributes. Shesoid kol hatzimtzumim letzamtzem ha'oyer sheyislabesh bebchinis kelim deyut spheres. For the underlying purpose of all of the contractions is to condense the light in order to enable it to become enclosed within the vessels of the 10 spheres of the world of Atzilus. So these vessels assume the specific form of wisdom or kindness. By contrast, the divine light that permeates these vessels is essentially simple. Simple meaning they lack the limitations of the forms. Like, for example, you take a white sheet of paper. It lacks any colors. On that, you can bring any colors that you want. So it contains all the colors, but the light itself is simple. Another example that can be used is when you take water and you pour it into a colorful glass. So you look in the water from the outside, the glass, it shapes, it gives a shape, gives a certain color, but the water itself is simple. So the light that is in the vessels of the attributes, that is considered a simple light. When through tzimtzum the vessels comes into being and the light clothes itself within them and become fused with them, wisdom and kindness become one with God. So again, this is a oneness, just like we said, the knower, the knowledge, and the knowing is the kindness, and the one who is kind is all one. The light and the vessels becomes one. And there, this is something that is beyond understanding, as the Alter Rebbe goes on. Mehinei acha shenislabish oir ein soif b'bchinis kelim de chochma b'nudas oz shayach loima ma shekosav Rambam hu hayodea v'hu hamada v'hu hayodua u'biyedea satzme b'cholam. It is only after the Ein Sof light becomes clothed within the vessels of Chabad, the wisdom, understanding, and knowledge, the intellectual attributes, that the Maimonides statement about the Holy One, blessed be He, is in place. He is the knower, He is the knowledge, and He is the knowing. And by knowing Himself, He knows all creation. That's what we said. Knowing all the creations do not add anything to Him, which is beyond our scope of understanding. Anybody who, when he knows something, it adds something to you. And the reason why it doesn't add, because He's the knower and He's the knowledge. It's all one. So that can only be said only after the light was contracted within to reach the level of Atzilus. Because the vessels of Atzilus, they become the soul and life force of the world of Beriya, Yetzira, and Asiya, the three lower worlds, and all the creatures therein. So by knowing Himself with the knowledge that is to be found in the vessels of Atzilus, He also knows all the world of the creatures of Beriya and Yetzira and Asiya, because everything is a continuation and emanates from it, since they derive their life force from these vessels. So all this, however, can only come about after the various tzimtzumim, the various contractions and condensations. After the various tzimtzumim have brought about the creation of the light, enabling it to be vested in the vessels of Atzilus. However, without the aforementioned tzimtzum and investiture of the light in the vessels, it is not at all appropriate to say that He's the knower and He's the knowledge, etc. Meaning that the whole category of knowledge cannot be ascribed to God. The category is beyond the category of knowledge. Even in so exalted a manner as in the statement that He is the knower etc. Meaning, even that level, what we said that we cannot understand, saying about God is also something which is absurd. Saying that we cannot understand God, because He's not something that is understandable. It's beyond. It's not that you cannot understand or anybody cannot understand. Why? Because He's not within the realm and domain of knowing and knowledge at all, God forbid. But is infinitely elevated above even the level and bounds, the bounds of wisdom. Because even the statement that He's the knower implies restricting God to, so to speak, to one particular faculty. Wisdom as distinct from, say, the attribute of kindness or mercy. God, however, utterly transcends all such bounds. To the extent that in relation to Him, the level of wisdom is considered like the level of physical action. So, the Alter Rebbe now goes on and says, so yes, this is just a tiny touch about the tzimtzum, about the contractions, and how this is way beyond our understanding, beyond the concept of understanding it all. Says the Alter Rebbe, so what we need to do, that we need to use our faith. We cannot grasp it with logic, and it's beyond any understanding. And that is why we have our faith. Our faith grasps something which is way beyond and above. Now, we are not concerned with esoteric matters, how the emanation of the spheres from the Ein Sof came about, and the subsequent manner of their unity with Him. Those are two things which is way beyond any understanding. But it is incumbent upon us to believe with complete faith matters that are revealed to us, and that is that He and His attributes, meaning the vessels and the spheres, are one. The Hainu midoisav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, v'rtzoinei v'chachmosei v'daitei, im mahusei v'atzmosei. Meaning the attributes of the Holy One, blessed be He, and His will and His wisdom and understanding and knowledge are one. With His essence, the one with His essence and being. Who alone is exalted by infinite elevations above the levels of wisdom and intellect and comprehension. So therefore, it says, since He totally transcends intellect and comprehension, so therefore His union with the attributes which He emanated from Himself is also beyond the realm of comprehension. Meaning, that it is impossible to understand how He unites with them. Rather, this may be apprehended only through faith. And that explains the statement of the Zohar, says the Alter Rebbe. The fact what the Zohar calls the attributes, the secret of faith. Nikru midoisav shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu, shehein asfiros bezohar HaKadosh raze demem nusa. In the Holy Zohar, therefore, the attributes of the Holy One, blessed be He, which are the sephiros, they are called the secret of faith. Which is the faith that transcends the intellect. For this concept can be grasped intellectually, cannot be grasped intellectually, but only through faith. And this is a beautiful lesson that I'm sure you all understood perfectly. The idea of the faith, that with faith the faith comes from something very, very deep, way beyond anything, any comprehension, any understanding, any logic. Because deep inside here, there is the neshama. The neshama that senses something beyond understanding. And that is the beautiful thing, when the more you learn about it, the more we learn about the greatness of Hashem and how far it is from our world. And yet Hashem is here. And yet Hashem gives us life every single moment and puts us in this world and allows us to connect with Him through the Torah, through the mitzvahs. This is we gain a much greater appreciation to what we're doing here in this world. Have a good Chodesh, and we'll see you tomorrow again.